Prof Mngomezulu, thank you so much for your time. So it was essentially quite a very busy day in the Republic yesterday, where we've seen, some former presidents coming to address the media, back to back. So perhaps let's start with this point here, Prof. Should the ANC's top leaders meet to perhaps discuss whether or not President Ramaphosa should step aside if the independent panel investigating the Phala Phala saga finds that perhaps he was, has a prima facie case to answer to?
No, thank you very much for having me, and good morning to your viewers. It's not a matter of the leadership of the ANC sitting down and deliberating on the matter. The step-aside resolution was taken in 2017, and the ANC has been implementing this resolution, albeit with some difficulties, and there have been amendments in the process. All they need to do is to follow due processes. But the only difference with the president, which is what people have been saying, is that given the fact that he started off by saying that one of his main items on the agenda was to deal with corruption, they would have expected him to voluntarily step aside while the issue is being investigated. But the other side of the coin is that the president is just like any member of the ANC. So which means we can only apply the resolution after he has been formally charged. So we're faced with a catch-22 situation. On the one hand, you expect the president to do things in a slightly different manner. On the other hand, we expect the president to be subjected to the same treatment that we subject all other members and leaders of the ANC to. So if you were to convene a special meeting of the leadership of the ANC and try to decide the fate of the president, that will then be inconsistent with the constitution and will be of the ANC, and will be also inconsistent with the implementation of the resolution. So I think that the Phala Phala matter has in fact caused more problems to the ANC than it has provided any solutions.
Indeed, Prof. And while we're still on that, we do understand that President Ramaphosa is also expected to address the nation later today. What do you think is likely to come out of that address as far as, issues of state capture are concerned?
Honestly, I think that things went wrong from day one. When Advocate Thuli Madonsela proposed the appointment of this commission, or the State Capture Commission, there was something which was inconsistent with the constitution of the country. Because according to Section 84 of the Constitution, the sitting president has the right to appoint the the commission, the entire commission, including the chairperson. But the recommendation by Advocate Thuli Madonsela was that because former President Jacob Zuma was, in her view, implicated, then she couldn't be the one basically appointing the chairperson. Then there was a deviation from the constitution, which is why I think former President Zuma is saying that the appointment of the commission was in itself unconstitutional. It's in that context. But having said that, now we have this commission report, which was given to the president by now Chief Justice Zondo. And then the president himself, by the way, was implicated in the report. So ordinarily, you would have expected the report to be given to the Speaker of Parliament, like it happened when Advocate Thuli Madonsela handed her report to then Speaker Baleka Mbete. So ordinarily, you would have expected the report of the State Capture Commission to be handed to the Speaker, the current Speaker of Parliament. That didn't happen. Now it is with the president. And the president has prepared a 76-page document to be given to Parliament. Now, when he addresses the nation, of course, he will be giving the nation some pointers as to what has come out of the commission report, what the main recommendations are, and how he, in his position as president of the country, is planning to implement those resolutions. Then those who are standing on the other side of the fence will say, "But Mr. President, how are you going to deal with the issue that you were also implicated?" And the president can defend himself and say, "Yes, I was implicated, but there was no finding against me. Therefore, I'm still justified to present the report and still be able to implement his recommendation." So there will be more problems going forward, honestly speaking, from where I'm standing.
That paints a picture of grimness there, Prof. And of course, moving right along, former President Thabo Mbeki has bemoaned the state of the ruling party, saying leaders seeking election do not really qualify to lead the party. So I need to understand better. What does this tell us about the current state of the ANC? Is this the ANC that people want to vote for come 2024?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. You might have seen signs in 2019 during the general election. You also saw something similar in the 2021 local government election. There are people who still like the ANC, by the way. The majority of people still like the ANC, but they are disappointed in the manner in which the ANC is being run. So which is why in 2021 there was a low voter turnout to the extent that the majority of us were complaining about voter apathy, meaning that people are now reluctant to vote. The main reason why the voter turnout was too low in 2021 was primarily because there are people who still believe in the ANC, but not in its current state. So then they took a decision that they are not going to vote with the hope that the ANC will put its house in order, and then once it has done that, they will come back and vote for it. Because under normal circumstances, if that in fact ditched the ANC, what would have happened? They would have gone to vote for other political parties en masse, and we didn't see this happening. So which means that the onus is on the ANC to self-correct and then listen to the voters, not just members of the ANC, because it's not only members of the ANC who vote for the ANC. Some people are not belonging to any political party, but they still vote for the ANC. So as the leadership of the ANC, then we need to satisfy not just the current members, the card-carrying members, but we also have to satisfy general populace, that is the electorate in South Africa, the people who give you the right to govern this country. So I think that is where the focus should be. Failure to do that will mean that in 2024, maybe starting with the December conference, if quote-unquote wrong leaders are elected, then you might see a worse situation than we saw in 2021, whereby people will either not vote, or this time around they might in fact even decide to vote for other political parties, and that would mean problems for the ANC. So it's imperative then for the ANC to learn from history, and then of course read the signals correctly, and then take firm decisions that are going to try and resurrect the organization, because currently the organization is in trouble, and luckily some leaders have already admitted that indeed the ANC that we have today is not the ANC that most of us know historically.
All right, Professor Mngomezulu, thank you so much indeed for your time.